Have you ever heard of a town so reliant on dogs they were practically citizens?
Citizens.
Yeah, but I'm talking 1925, Nome, Alaska. Not just for companionship, but for survival.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Imagine, your car is a sled, your commute is across miles of frozen wilderness, and your lifeline is a team of incredible dogs.
Like stepping into a different world, isn't it? Today we're diving into a story from that world. A tale of incredible bravery, harrowing conditions, and a bond between humans and animals that defied all odds.
The 1925 Serum Run to Nome. I gotta say, the more I read about it, the more I realized there's so much more to this story than just Balto.
Exactly. Diphtheria, a deadly epidemic threatening to wipe out an entire town.
And then this race against time to deliver the antitoxin. Cross nearly 700 miles of frozen Alaskan terrain.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so first, just paint us a picture of Nome in 1925.
Picture this. Bustling frontier town, hub for gold mining, trade, around 1,400 residents in town and another 10,000 in the surrounding areas. But what's truly fascinating is how dogs were woven into the very fabric of their lives.
I even read they had their own social circle.
Oh, it's true. Imagine dogs roaming freely, joining their owners in saloons, their howls echoing through the streets each night.
Wow.
They weren't just pets, they were essential partners in daily life, pulling sleds,
Delivering mail.
even providing companionship in a place where human contact could be scarce.
So their world revolved around dogs, much like our cities revolve around cars today.
Exactly.
And then this diphtheria crisis hits.
Throws Nome into chaos. Dr. Curtis Welch, the town's only physician, discovers his supply of diphtheria antitoxin has expired.
Oh no.
He orders more, but as fate would have it, winter descends and Nome becomes isolated.
Cut off from the outside world. By a frozen sea and impassable trails, it sounds desperate.
It was. And tragically, a young girl succumbs to the disease.
And that's when they realize just how bad it is.
Dr. Welch realizes he has only enough antitoxin for 6 children. Estimates suggested they need 1 million units to effectively combat the growing epidemic.
Wow.
Talk about a race against time.
So what do?
A frantic search. They locate 300,000 units in Anchorage, a little closer, and another 1.1 million units on the West Coast.
So still pretty far.
This leaves Governor Bone with a critical decision. Should he risk a dog sled relay through the harsh Alaskan winter?
Especially considering we're talking about negative 50 degrees Fahrenheit. I can barely handle a chilly morning.
Yeah. And remember, this is 1925, long before the advent of modern cold weather gear. We're talking about conditions where exposed skin could freeze in seconds.
Oh, wow.
Frostbite was a constant threat.
And I read it wasn't just the cold. Blinding blizzards, treacherous ice,
You're right.
hidden dangers like moose holes that could cripple a dog in an instant.
Perilous undertaking.
Yeah.
And to add to the dilemma, experimental bush planes were still in their infancy, prone to freezing midair in those temperatures. It was a high-stakes gamble, no matter which option Governor Bone chose.
So he went with the dog sled relay, knowing the risks for both the mushers and their dogs.
A decision rooted in a deep respect for the resilience and capability of sled dogs and their mushers. They were, after all, the backbone of transportation in that region. Their endurance was legendary.
I read about how they set up this intricate relay system. The first leg was a 300-mile journey from Anchorage to Nenana by train. And they actually, get this, the serum was meticulously wrapped in fur, with instructions to warm it by the fire at each roadhouse along the way.
A chain of human and animal effort, each link as important as the last. The roadhouses, these rustic shelters scattered across the vast Alaskan wilderness, played a vital role. They provided warmth, food, and a brief respite for the mushers and their teams.
Sounds like beacons of hope in that frozen landscape.
They were, and from Nenana, 674 miles, across some of the most unforgiving terrain imaginable.
Wow.
To combat the extreme conditions, they planned to use fresh teams of mushers and dogs in shorter stints, minimizing the risks of exhaustion and exposure.
That makes sense. So that's where we meet our first unsung hero, Leonhard Sapela.
Leonhard.
He was considered Alaska's most renowned musher, known for his speed, but also his incredible connection with his dogs.
More than just a skilled musher, he had an uncanny ability to understand and connect with his dogs. Known for his charisma, his gentle touch, and his unwavering belief in the strength and intelligence of his team.
And his lead dog, Togo, was a testament to that bond.
Togo.
A 12-year-old Siberian Husky. Now that's pretty old for a sled dog, right?
He was a seasoned veteran. His age was a point of concern for some, but Supala knew Togo possessed a rare combination of intelligence, resilience, and a spirit that defied his years. As you'll see, Togo's experience proved invaluable on the trail.
I remember reading that Sapala had tried to rehome Togo at one point.
Oh, yes. Togo, you see, was quite a mischievous character in his younger days, a real handful.
Oh.
Imagine a dog with boundless energy, a knack for causing trouble, and a spirit that couldn't be contained.
Sounds like he kept Sapal on his toes.
Oh, he did. Supala actually tried to find Togo a loving home as a pet, thinking it might be a better fit for the dog's energetic personality.
So he just didn't think he could be a sled dog.
But fate, it seems, had other plans.
And those plans involved Togo becoming a legendary sled dog. I'm already hooked. This is incredible.
Hold on tight, because this is just the beginning of their story.
Okay.
Togo's rise to lead dog is anything but conventional. He had a natural talent, a stamina that surprised even Supala, and a knack for navigating the trail that was almost instinctual.
And then there's that incredible story about the ice flow incident.
Ah, yes. The incident that truly solidified Togo's place in mushing legend.
That sounds pretty serious.
It was. Sepala and his team are crossing the frozen Norton Sound when the ice beneath them gives way, sending them adrift on a massive ice floe. They're trapped for hours, facing frigid waters and the threat of hypothermia.
Wow.
It was a life-or-death situation. But Togo, in a remarkable display of bravery and quick thinking, manages to pull the team to safety.
Wow. How did he do that?
He navigates the treacherous ice, finds a thin spot where they can break through, and guides them back to solid ground.
So he really saved them.
He did.
See, this story really challenges that whole alpha dog stereotype, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Togo wasn't a dominant bully. He was a resourceful, intelligent leader who put the safety of the team first. His actions during the ice flow incident showcased the true qualities of a lead dog. Not aggression or dominance, but intelligence, independence, and a deep understanding of the trail.
It sounds like a very special bond between the musher and the lead dog.
Think of it like a well-oiled machine, where each part works in harmony with the other. The musher relies on the lead dog's instincts and intelligence.
And the lead dog trusts the musher's guidance and decisions.
It's a bond forged in the crucible of challenging conditions, and it's what allowed Supala and Togo to achieve what many considered impossible.
So they were an amazing team. I'm already in awe of this dog, and we're just getting started. But wait, I thought this was the story of Balto in the Serum Run.
It is, but as you delve deeper, you realize it's a story with many heroes. Balto might have gotten the headlines, but it was a collective effort, and Togo and Supala played a pivotal role.
So how does their journey unfold amidst this epic relay?
This entire relay is happening in the dead of an Alaskan winter. Temperatures that could freeze exposed skin in seconds.
Oh, yeah.
Blinding blizzards that reduce visibility to mere feet, and treacherous ice concealing hidden dangers like moose holes, which could easily injure a dog.
You mentioned Wild Bill Shannon's 50-mile leg. He had a pretty rough time.
It was a brutal stretch.
Right.
Imagine battling extreme cold, black ice, so slick it's practically invisible, and the ever-present threat of frostbite, all while urging your team forward through relentless snow and wind. Tragically, 3 of his dogs succumbed to the harsh conditions.
That's terrible. It really underscores the risks these mushers and their dogs were facing.
It does, and it got so bad that Governor Bone actually made the decision to cancel the relay,
Really?
opting to wait for safer conditions and explore alternative ways to get the serum to Nome. But there was a problem, a big one.
What was that?
Communication was nearly impossible in those days,
Yeah.
especially with the storm raging. The mushers were out there, scattered across hundreds of miles of frozen wilderness, completely unaware that the relay had been called off.
So they just kept going, driven by duty,
Yes.
the urgency of the situation. And that's where Sapala's journey takes an unexpected turn.
Exactly. He was initially slated to cover the longest and most dangerous leg of the relay, a grueling journey from Nome southward, with Togo leading the way.
Right.
But Feed, it seems, had other plans. He encountered a struggling team amidst a raging blizzard, visibility reduced to practically nothing.
Wow. So they couldn't even see where they were going.
Imagine a blinding whiteout, wind howling like a banshee, and a team of exhausted dogs,
Yeah.
barely able to put one paw in front of the other.
It sounds terrifying.
Sapal, focused on his own mission, almost pressed on, but the desperate musher, barely recognizable through the swirling snow, flagged him down, and that's when he learned they were carrying the serum.
The serum. It was with them.
Yes. The serum was in their possession, and Sepala, recognizing the gravity of the situation, agreed to take it. With his unmatched experience and Togo's unwavering strength, they became the unexpected carriers of this precious cargo.
So instead of heading south from Nome, he's now going back north into the heart of the blizzard with the serum.
Precisely. And this leg of the journey becomes even more treacherous than originally planned. Not only were they battling the blizzard, but they had to navigate the shifting ice floes of the Norton Sound, where thin ice and open water posed constant threats. And then there was the daunting climb over Little McKinley, a smaller but still formidable peak where the wind chill could drop temperatures to unimaginable levels.
All while the relay had been technically canceled.
It really highlights the commitment and determination of these mushers, doesn't it? They were operating on outdated information, relying on instinct and a deep sense of duty to guide their actions. And through it all, Seppala and Togo persevered. They navigated the blizzard, skillfully crossed the ice floes, and conquered the slopes of Little McKinley. Relying on their deep connection and years of experience mushing together to overcome each obstacle.
Wow, so they had no idea that the whole thing had been called off.
Meanwhile, closer to Nome, Gunnar Kazan and his lead dog, Balto, were stationed near the end of the trail, unaware of the events unfolding further north.
So they were just waiting.
They were the final team in the relay, poised to make the last dash into Nome and deliver the life-saving medicine. But remember that communication breakdown we talked about.
Yeah.
Kazan, like the other mushers, was completely in the dark about the relay's cancellation.
He was ready to go.
He was, and it was a decision fueled by both a sense of urgency and, some speculate, a touch of ambition. He knew the weight of responsibility on his shoulders, the lives depending on his safe delivery of the serum. But there are those who suggest he was also driven by the desire to be the one to bring the serum home, to be hailed as the hero.
Right, so maybe he wanted the glory.
He was warned about a hurricane-force storm brewing. Experienced mushers advised him to wait it out, to prioritize safety over speed. But Kazan, perhaps feeling the pressure of the moment, perhaps driven by that internal desire for recognition, pressed onward into the teeth of the storm.
Sounds like a recipe for disaster.
It almost was. He battled deep snowdrifts, those treacherous overflow areas where water had seeped up onto the ice, creating a hitting danger that could easily cause a sled to overturn. And then there was the blowhole.
The blowhole.
Imagine a narrow passage carved through the snowdrifts, funneling the wind into a furious torrent, with gusts reaching up to 70 miles per hour. It was in that chaos, in that blinding snow and wind, that disaster almost struck. The serum was thrown from the sled.
So they lost the serum.
It was a heart-stopping moment. The precious cargo, the hope for countless lives, lost in a blinding storm. But Kaizen, driven by desperation and determination, refused to give up. He searched frantically, crawling on his hands and knees, battling the wind, his fingers numb with cold. And against all odds, he found it.
He found it. That's incredible.
It was a moment of pure triumph amidst the storm's fury. He secured the serum back onto the sled, pushed through the blowhole's unrelenting winds, and finally, as if nature itself had taken pity on him, the storm began to subside. He arrived in safety, the last stop before Nome, utterly exhausted but undeterred. And that's where he makes another controversial decision. He chooses not to wake the resting musher, Ed Ron, and instead presses on alone with Balto leading the way.
Why wouldn't he wake him?
It was a decision that sparked a lot of debate. Kazan claimed that waking Ron and having him prepare a fresh team would have taken too much time. He argued it was faster to push on with his already tired team, but some saw it as a selfish act, a calculated move to secure his own place in the story.
So maybe he wanted all the glory for himself.
Balto led Kazan and the team into Nome at 5:30 a.m. on February 2nd, completing the 674-mile relay in an astounding 5 days and 7 hours.
That's amazing. And then they're heroes.
The serum was thawed, administered, and countless lives were saved. The mushers, especially Balto and Kazan, were hailed as heroes. But as you delve deeper into the story, you realize that the focus on Balto, while understandable, tends to overshadow the efforts of others, particularly Seppala and Togo.
Right. What about them? Did they get the recognition they deserved? It seems like history remembers Balto but forgot about Togo.
It's true that Balto became the poster dog for the Serum Run, capturing the public's imagination. Newspapers across the country chronicled his bravery.
Oh, wow.
Children wrote poems dedicated to him. Hollywood even came calling with a movie deal. Balto and Kazan embarked on a national tour, greeted with cheers and adoration wherever they went.
What a whirlwind.
But fame, as we know, can be a double-edged sword. Balto and his team were eventually sold to a sideshow in Los Angeles, enduring harsh conditions that were a far cry from the freedom and respect they'd known in Alaska.
That's so sad.
Thankfully, a public outcry led to their rescue, and they lived out their days in relative peace too. Togo's fate, however, was quite different.
So while Balto was basking in the spotlight, what was Togo up to?
Togo continued his life as a sled dog in Alaska, working alongside Seppala, running the trails they both loved. He eventually enjoyed a well-deserved retirement at the ripe old age of 16, living out his days peacefully in New England.
It's a reminder that true heroism doesn't always seek the limelight.
Exactly. The Serum Run wasn't just about one dog or one musher. It was a collective effort. A testament to teamwork and the quiet dedication of individuals like Seppala and Togo often gets overlooked in the grand narrative. They faced the same dangers, the same brutal conditions, and they covered even greater distances than Balto. Yet their story is often relegated to a footnote.
It makes you wonder if there's a Togo in all of our lives. Someone working tirelessly behind the scenes, making a difference without seeking recognition.
It's a thought-provoking idea, isn't it? The Serum Run, while a historical event, holds so many parallels to our own lives. It reminds us that sometimes the greatest heroes are those who work quietly, diligently, and without fanfare, driven by a sense of duty and compassion rather than the desire for accolades.
It also highlights the incredible bond we can have with animals, their capacity for loyalty, courage, and resilience.
Absolutely. The dogs in this story weren't just transportation. They were partners, teammates, and in many cases, lifesavers. They braved the same dangers as their human counterparts, pushed their bodies to the limit, and displayed an unwavering spirit that continues to inspire us today.
And the Serum Run's legacy lives on in another way, too. The Iditarod.
You're right.
Yeah.
While not directly created to commemorate the Serum Run, the Iditarod, that grueling 1,000-mile race across Alaska, does honor the spirit of those incredible mushers and their dogs. It was conceived as a way to preserve sled dog culture, to prevent these amazing animals from fading into obscurity.
And it's evolved into something much more than just a race.
It has. It's a celebration of endurance, a testament to the human-animal bond, and a reminder of the courage and determination it takes to face adversity head-on. And there's a special award given out during the Iditarod that I think perfectly encapsulates the spirit of the Serum Run.
The Leonard Seppala Humanitarian Award.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This award is given to the musher who demonstrates exceptional dog care during the race, recognizing that the well-being of the dogs is paramount. It's a beautiful tribute to Seppala's legacy, his deep connection with Togo, and the values that were at the heart of the Serum Run: care, respect, and a deep understanding of the animals who make these incredible feats possible.
It's been an amazing journey uncovering the true story of the Serum Run with all its complexities and unsung heroes.
And I think we've only scratched the surface. There's a wealth of information out there about the 1925 Serum Run, the lives of the mushers and their dogs, and the enduring legacy of sled dog culture. We encourage you to keep exploring, to learn more about Seppala and Togo, to delve into the stories of the other mushers, and to discover for yourself the remarkable bond between humans and animals that made this incredible feat possible.
We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1925 Serum Run to Nome. It's been a privilege to share this story with you, and we hope it's inspired you to look beyond the headlines, to seek out the unsung heroes in your own lives, and to appreciate the incredible animals who share our world.
Until next time, may your trails be smooth and your dogs be swift.